What's up you guys, Keith DeMello here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the costs as well as the requirements to be a commercial pilot in Canada. Stay tuned. Well, what's the purpose of a commercial pilot's license? Well, unlike a private pilot's license, which we talked about in a previous video, where you can just fly for fun, a commercial pilot license enables you to fly for hire. Legally, you can get paid to fly an airplane as a pilot.
And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this. Money doesn't just buy you a better life, better food, better cars. It also makes you a better person.
Which is of great reward because you spent the last few years paying for your own flight training, and now someone else is paying you to fly an airplane for them. As you can imagine, the responsibility of being a commercial pilot and the training is a lot higher than just a private pilot's license, because now you're responsible for flying a large number of passengers. You're responsible for a multi-million-dollar airplane and making sure that the company procedures are all adhered to.
Jesus, we're flying. Listen, we're level. We can maintain altitude like this.
As a fully licensed commercial pilot, you can also fly at night, versus a private pilot's license, you're usually only restricted to the daytime flying. You're also able to fly VFR over the top, which is basically you're allowed to fly above a cloud deck layer, and as long as the departure airport and the destination airport is clear, the cruise portion of the flight you're able to fly over the top of clouds. So it gives you more flexibility in terms of your cross-country flight. Now, without further ado, let's move into the costs. Now, I must give a disclaimer that these costs are based on the costs for the international student flight training in Canada. These costs, unfortunately, are double the cost that you would normally find if you were a Canadian resident. Now, you might be asking why double the cost for an international student. Well, it's not uncommon where universities in Canada charge international students upwards of 4 times, 5 times, even as high as 6 times the cost of tuition compared to if you were a Canadian resident. Some of the reasons brought forward for that is that a local Canadian citizen pays taxes to the Canadian government, and the Canadian government then subsidizes the cost of education in Canada, versus a student coming from international into Canada doesn't pay any taxes yet, so the costs are not subsidized for them. Unfortunately, that's a big problem for international students, where the universities seem to increase the cost of the tuition every single year, and they do so because a small chunk of their income revenue comes from international students.
This is it. This is what you've been working for.
So please don't shoot the messenger. I'm just passing on the cost to you and making you aware that these costs for the commercial pilot training is usually double for an international student versus a Canadian resident. So let's move into the costs. The cost for a commercial pilot license, if you train in a Cessna 172, which is a 4-seater airplane, the total cost for dual and solo is $19,000. You need 100 hours of PIC time. That comes to $20,100. The cost of briefings, because before the flight we do a pre-flight briefing and after the flight we do a post-flight debriefing, comes to roughly $1,500. The cost for the flight test to get your commercial pilot's license is $700, and the cost to do your written examinations as well as the books is roughly $400. That gives you a total cost of $41,700, including taxes. Now, we must also not forget the cost of a night rating. As we talked about at the beginning of the video, one of the privileges of commercial pilot license is to fly at night. Yes, there are some people who only get a day-only commercial pilot's license, but what good is that you can only fly as a commercial pilot in the daytime? Imagine telling your employer that, I only have a day commercial pilot's license and I can only fly in the day. Well, that's not going to happen. So you have to get a night rating as part of your commercial pilot's license if you're going to be treated seriously as a commercial pilot. So the cost of a night rating in a Cessna 172, dual and solo, is $3,900. The cost for the briefing is $600, and the cost to time build is $1,400. So the total cost for your night rating is $5,900, including taxes. Now, if you combine these two costs of $41,700 for the commercial pilot's license and the costs of $5,900 for the night rating, you actually have to add that on top of the private pilot license costs. I made a video on the cost of a private pilot license in Canada. I'll link that video in the description. So you must add these costs to the cost of the private pilot's license. Now that you know the cost of commercial pilot license training in Canada, let's look at the requirements that it is based on. In Canada, you need 200 hours of total time to get your commercial pilot's license, 100 hours of PIC time, 20 hours of cross-country PIC, 80 hours of commercial pilot ground school, which is double the requirement for a PPL ground school. And then you must also pass a commercial pilot written exam, which you must obtain a score of a minimum of 60%. Now, some of you must be asking, what if you get a low score such as 60% or even 70%? Well, let me tell you, most airlines don't even care. I've never been asked my score in any of my written exams, and I've achieved anywhere from 85 to 95% on my written exams. And I've never actually been asked at any airline that I've applied to what are my scores on my written exam. So I wouldn't worry too much about what you score in your written exam. It's for your own self-esteem if you get a good score, but don't worry about it. It's not going to make a difference when you do apply for a job. A pass is a pass. Okay guys, if you found that video helpful, comment below in the description any questions you may have and anything that you've learned from this video. And stay tuned for my next video where we're going to talk about the cost to be an instructor in Canada, as well as the different types of instructor. Because after you get your commercial pilot license, you may want to start time building easily as a flight instructor. In my opinion, that's the easiest hours to obtain, is hours teaching other people. It's not the reason why I make these type of videos, because I personally enjoy teaching and YouTube allows me to teach on a massive scale. And believe it or not, these type of videos take a lot of time to make. So if you like these type of videos, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with any friends that you think might benefit from it as well. And I will see you next time.